Good morning, you guys. I'm out here in Kentucky. I have a childhood friend who lives here with her husband. It's out here in the countryside. And if you know me, you know I'm obsessed. I've always been. I remember in fifth grade, my teacher, Mrs. Hart, RIP to Mrs. Hart, she took the entire class to her house, and she lived out in the countryside of where I'm from, which is Manhattan, Kansas, which is really like you just go like a couple seconds out and you're in the countryside, which I think has also played a part in why I love just being out in like the in the like out in nature, out in the countryside. It really is very relaxing to me. But I remember, when all the other kids were like running around and doing all these things, I was sitting at her fenced in porch, and I was just looking at like all of this land that she had. And it has always invoked a feeling out of me of like not only freedom when I'm looking at just like a vast piece of land, but also like this sense of safety, of like comfort. And is like it most definitely helps, when the wind is going as well, which in that moment in fifth grade it also was happening. And I've always loved wind. I've always felt like it was the ancestors in the universe talking to me, and it just made me feel very relaxed in times where I just didn't feel that. And so being out here, it just like it does what go like traveling always does for me, which is remind me where I'm trying to go. I'm learning that even though I do love these environments and I most definitely want a home in the countryside of whatever country that they may be, as we're going and just doing things like a boat tour, in a cave. And we went to an Amish shop and got one of the most, literally the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. And just like these moments where we have been around other people and we've been communicating with them and we've been like just having connections with one another. And I don't know why that makes me want to shed a tear. Um, but I think it's reminding me that, or again, the lesson that I'm seeing with myself is that it's not that, I don't want to be around people, and it's not that I don't want to like. There's a part of me that is that very wild part that wants to not only interact with people but with the world, in every sense. I want to be in like caves that don't require a boat tour, right? I want to like just travel and discover and the world, and I want to do that with people. I want to see how they live and how they think. And I think, and I've always been this way, right? But there's a little part of me though that has silenced that part of me out of how I saw myself and how I thought other people saw me. And so, like, for a lot of the times, hanging around other people sounded so exhausting to me, sounded so like just not what I wanted to do. And it would, and of course I think on like no shade to other people, it most definitely had something to do with like the experiences I've had with people, um and just how I know how people are in general, right? But it really was who I was and what I was internalizing. And feeling like when I am around people, I have to be like looking a certain way and like talking a certain way and being a certain way, that not necessarily how I think they want me to be, but how I think I should be, that's going to make me look like beautiful and strong. And so those things are based off of like what I see beauty in other people, what I see as strength, what I see as intelligence, and all these things. And I try to take all of those things that I like and like morph them into who I am, when even with myself, but most definitely when I'm around other people, in order to feel like I am, because I've seen for so long beauty, strength, intelligence as like value. um and I also saw those things in very specific ways, again, based off of what I've been exposed to and what I thought was those things, which I still think are that. But I think that it's like things that just aren't naturally me, don't come naturally to me. That A doesn't mean that I'm not still like strong or smart or beautiful. That just looks different for me. And I should allow myself to see those things that I've naturally been gifted with in those ways, instead of like looking at myself or how I think and all these things and trying to immediately compare that to what I thought strength and beauty and intelligence meant based off, again, people who have really inspired me. Um, but I think we've just been taught in so many ways, and I've talked about this before, of like things feeling like they have to be one way or the other. And if they aren't those things, then the value gets taken out of people in their personal experiences and their perspectives and how they see the world and how they just show up naturally. And so having those mindsets for so long, like, of course it's going to feel very exhausting because you're like masking, and you're like being this person that you want people to see you as, and kind of, yeah, how you think other people want to see you as well. And that's exhausting. But this trip has, because I have, before I came here, have been understanding that that is really what has been happening with me. And I've been decentering the need to be beautiful to other people, the need to be smart to other people, the need to be valuable in whatever way. That doesn't mean that I still don't want those things, but the need for it, the decentering that, and really just being who I am, and really being in that mindset that I have when I do feel like our power lies within our original thinking, our original, just how we look, our original imagination, our original tone. It's like once I just stopped really thinking about that, and again, sometimes I still like have that to where I like think about it and like want to like become this person or thing, right? But now that I'm in this mindset that I've been in, it's like I'm able to enjoy the moments with other people because I'm not thinking, how, like, even some of the things I say, is it going to offend them, or are they going to like be cringed at like how I think? Being a gay man, which I think again plays a lot of part of it. It's not just the looks. It's like I understand that a lot of people are very homophobic and just have certain ways of seeing things, and like, and not even just in like sexuality, but just in a lot of different facets. Again, that concrete thing on how we think things should be. And so there's always this fear that I feel like made sense based off of my experiences and what I've gone through, based off of like being treated unfairly because of being a gay man or being a black man or being a person that is just like wants more and like allows himself to just like be free with their emotions and allow people to see that, and and all these things. A lot of the times there's a negative reaction to that, and that most definitely played a part in how I showed up. So it's kind of like the tiptoeing too, of not trying to make people feel too uncomfortable or make people feel like I'm trying to be better than them, or just like all of these things. And now that I'm in a place where I'm just being me and I'm not thinking about those things all the time, I can really just enjoy these people. I can enjoy, because again, it's not always happening. I literally went into an Amish shop where, there's always these perspectives around them, and opinions and all these things. And I'm not here to talk about this, but I'm just saying, and I wasn't dressed super like, manly or whatever. And a little part of me came across of like, OMG, like I wonder how they're gonna react and all that. And it's just like people, and maybe because it's like there, it was like a shop and like, customer service on and all that, but it was still like just this welcoming energy, and I genuinely, I want to hold space for, people. Oh gosh, again, almost me about to cry, which is fine if that happens, but um, I want to hold space for people to not just think the worst, even if we have different perspectives, or mindsets or whatever. As long as there's that welcoming energy, as long as we can like put aside how our opinions and our perspectives, and based off of our personal experiences and all these things that are valid. But like, I think that's what this world is missing, of just still making people feel welcomed with things that just really aren't hurting us, even if it may be something that we don't believe in, but I just think we would be way more in a different space if we like thought that way. But of course, I know that there are people like that. And I have been, the more that I have allowed myself to just go out and be who I am, and just like take whatever it is, whether it's the negative reaction to that or it's a positive one, and just being okay with either or. But And I have gotten both of those. I have gotten negative reactions and I have gotten positive ones. But it makes me feel good that there are people out there though that I am able to have those positive experiences with. This trip, like every trip I've ever been in, it always reminds me of what it is that I'm trying to do. And I feel like, again, this trip has really just shown me that, yes, I still want to be like in the countryside, just with nature, with, people that I truly love, and just that softness and comfort and just feeling like I can really breathe that only the countryside does for me, and it always has since I was a youngin. That's how I just feel like I know, which I feel like honestly, like I feel like a lot of us, we find ourselves wanting the countryside, wanting the land, wanting that because that is what humans were, I believe. Like that is why we are here. We are here to sustain this planet and to like love it and to like love all that are within it, and to just frolic and to breathe in the air and to feel the sun and to not be in these spaces also in these mindsets where we are thinking about like how we look and like if we're intelligent enough or if we're like just valuable enough. Like that's not what it's about. It's just been made that way. And so I think that's why a lot of us, we internally know, and our soul is like wanting that so bad because that's natural. That's like our natural reaction to that. That's why we're here. But there is a part of me also that wants to go out and be around people and want to communicate and want to learn from them and want to laugh with them and cry with them. And like having just those true connections that I think a lot of us have not experienced based off of like these surface level ways of looking at ourselves and looking at those around us that has been taught to us. And these are things that I'm always talking about, right? Every time, on my journey, I'm growing, or I'm expanding, or I'm just pulling back the layers that aren't mine, whatever. And every time I have those moments, it's like I just cannot go back. Even, if I have times where I may like, want to go back into that comfort or, wanting to like being triggered in whatever way, there's just a part of me that like it's just like those experiences when I am being vulnerable, when I am being myself, touches me so much that it's like I remember that on a physical level. Like my body stores that, and like when I try to go back into those, my body's like, yeah, like this does kind of feel like good because we're like back in that comfort, but like no, like we now know what true freedom is, what true comfort is, what true beauty is, what true strength is, what true intelligence is. And it isn't these things that are has been projected onto us and what we've internalized. It's just things that we just naturally do. And so I just feel the need to talk about that because I see it in all of my days within myself, with those around me, to where like I feel like just decentering the need to even like to just decentering the need of like how things look and how they sound. The way that I'm able to just feel the sun, which is where is the sun? The way I'm able to just feel the sun and the wind and see the sky, like, and it feels like it's been feeling like the past couple of months and like really the past couple of years, as I've been allowing myself to be more in the present, like to breathe more and all these things. But it's like as I continue to go on, I just more and more start to experience these things as if I've never experienced them, even though I'm 26, I'll be 27 in November. That's what's been happening to me. And it's when I'm no longer in my head, it's when I'm no longer caring about these things. That doesn't mean that, because I think sometimes when we're talking about beauty, it is things that I feel like are important, as in like, hygiene and like movement. We don't want to be walking around filled with like having bacteria and all these things, things that we can like get rid of and like take care of ourselves in natural ways. When it comes to movement and exercise, like I think those things are still important, and I think those things do play a part in our confidence and how we feel in ourselves. But it doesn't have to be like all the extra things that people make you feel like you need to be beautiful. Get up and take a shower with a soap that is literally one ingredient, or like whatever. Like wash your face, put a little thing to moisturize your skin so it like can like be healthy, right? And that can be very natural as well. and then just go outside. You don't have to be in the gym. You don't have to have the certain gear and like do this whole thing. You can just go outside and dance and laugh and or walk around with someone. Walk around with yourself and look around and take in just the world that is very beautiful. Talk to yourself, and then you'll see that, like, wow, it's been like a couple miles and I've done that. You've gotten the daily movement that you need that really will aid in not just how you look at externally, but like internally is what is so important. Stripping myself from all of that comfort, from needing to be seen as valuable to other people. Again, not only just beauty, but like being smart, being strong, which also was something that I felt like, because at a really young age, I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel good outside, and I just feel like it's important to talk about. But at a really young age, I had been taught that strength, not showing your emotions, that's what strength was. And, being very macho, manly, and just very mean and all of these things is what it meant to be strong, what it meant to be a strong Black man. And it's like, I've never felt my most strongest. I've never felt my most capable until now, where I'm a person to where I am allowing myself to cry and not caring who sees it. I'm allowing myself to be real about what it is that I'm feeling and what does scare me, what does, just all of it, and being okay with expressing that to the world. And I still feel like, I can take care of myself and I can take care of my family and I can, like, survive, right? I feel very strong, and that's something that I didn't wasn't feeling when I was like parading around as this very emotionalist, like violent person that I just have never been, but again felt like I had to be based off of like conditioning, and feeling like I had to like defend myself of being a queer boy, and feeling so people wouldn't like mess with me. But even though I was very insecure growing up, I just have to get like, and this isn't like, I don't know, but I have to give myself a pat on the back that like I would never project that in the sense that was like violent or rude. Aside from sometimes, again, like I would be like, once I felt like I needed to defend myself, like, and once I like, because I really had this very deep, and I still do, of like how I see friendship. And so when I felt like I wasn't getting that same thing back, I would be like very intense or like angry or like aggressive in senses. And it was really me being hurt, but like that's how only ways I knew how to like express that at those times. And so that was very irrational, of course, but I was young and like didn't know anything that I do now. I've always been a person that like didn't need to be like the leader of the group. I've never been the person who was like rude to other people unprovoked, or what I thought was like unprovoked, right? Or like, you know what I mean? Like the times that I was rude to people, I felt like, again, because like they were being rude and mean to me, and I felt like I had to defend myself. But like, I'm not saying that I've always been like valid in doing so, but genuinely, I've just have never been like the bully. I've never been like this person who was just rude to people or felt like the need to like make fun of someone. And I'm glad that even though everything that has gone, like I've experienced, I could have easily become that person, you know and I didn't allow that to happen to other people. And I think a little bit of that too is because I was low-key afraid of people's negative reactions so much, so that also played a part in like why I wasn't like this rude person. Only once I felt like I had to defend myself, that's when like I would just, and I'm kind of like my dad in that sense, to where I like, even now, like I genuinely, I don't want to be mean and I don't want to be rude, and it's just not who I am. It's not my life. Like I'd rather just frolic and be happy all the time. But like there comes a time where like we just can't let people walk all over us all the time, and so it just takes a lot. And then once I'm there, that's when like that very like aggressive, defensive DeQuasi comes out. But anyways, we're already at 22 minutes. Oh my goodness, no, I don't know about this. It's supposed to be like a cute little like 10-minute video. But also I'm okay with that, because this video and just where I feels like I am finally in the place that I want to be in, like mentally. And I see how this is affecting my creativity and like just the way I see things, my problem solving, and all of that. And I see how it's attracting people who, it feels good, who genuinely want me for me and not like these things. And so that feels good as well. And I'm not getting rid of it. And one day, I'll be on my own land. I mean, hopefully not with this annoying dog barking in the back. But we love the baby, but my dogs will be free, no shade, but like they'll be free and like doing their things and like maybe annoying, but yeah, anyways. But yeah, I'm ready to have this, but I'm also ready to like go and do things that do scare me, but I know I want to do. Like I even try to do it when I'm in Kansas City and like the trails and shit. Like going, like I want to go to the crevices of things and like really experience the earth, the planet. I want to go into like the jungles and the rainforests that are like have like all types of creatures and shit. And like it's a little scary, but like I feel like my body, it has always craved that. It has always been craved just experience that does can feel like intense, that can be a little scary. And I think those are healthy ways of doing it because we are a part of the earth and we should be in those environments. I think though those urges that I've always had just had to come out in other ways. So that was like, being like super drunk at like young ages and like driving fast and crazy to like provoke that adrenaline and just doing wild things that I've always been a wild person and I love that about me and I don't want to change that. I just want to do it in very healthy ways, ways like that aren't, taking like years off of my life or like, messing up my mental. I want to do it in ways that still feel that are like aiding in that freedom mentally and like just like moving my body and those type of things. Climbing trees and shit. That's what I want. That's what I crave. So, yeah, okay. This was fun. Um, okay.